Nuclear warnings coming out to the United States as we are hearing in the last 24 hours that Iran is preparing 800 missiles to launch. And this is coming as we have seen that things have fallen apart with the nuclear talks between them and the United States. And these 800 missiles are actually coming from China, that is helping them to prepare for war. Now, this comes as I mentioned, things are falling apart with the negotiations, and Iran, the supreme leader, is saying, the United States, you do not tell us what we can do. If we can enrich uranium for nuclear weapons or not, we will do as we please. We do not care what it is you have to say about this. And we're hearing that meanwhile, as Donald Trump is trying to work out negotiations, diplomatic agreements with Iran, Israel is saying, we are on standby, ready at any moment's notice. You let us know, Donald Trump. We are ready to go to all-out war. Now, I'm going to share with you the latest headlines and video footage so that way you can see it for yourself. Coming out in the last 24 hours. Today, it is June 7th, 2025. We're going to dive into it, but let's go ahead and take a look at these headlines coming out so you can see it for yourself. It says, Iran is importing missile fuel from China as the U.S. tensions rise, according to reports. We're going to dive into this, and yes, these are direct threats and warnings from Iran to the United States, not to Israel. We're gonna cover it. This is to the United States. Here's another one. Iran orders materials from China that can make some 800 ballistic missiles, according to reports. Now take a look at the subtitle. Israel said to reassure the U.S. that it won't strike Iran's nuclear facilities without first receiving the signal from Donald Trump that talks have failed, so they are on standby. Now, we have heard that those talks have officially failed, but they still might open them back up. But Israel is saying, just give us the word. We are ready to strike Iran. Here's another headline coming out. Now, I shared this with you 2 days ago when I had let you know that this was unfolding. Iran's supreme leader sends nuclear warnings to the United States, issuing them directly to the U.S., saying, you have no say over what we do. We will make nuclear power, nuclear weapons, if we so choose, and you have no right to tell us what to do or what not to do. And take a look. Here's another one coming out. They say the United States can't do anything about this. The supreme leader belittles the U.S.'s nuclear proposal and attempts to come up with a nuclear deal, and that is why we are hearing that there are nuclear warnings coming out right now to the United States, and we are hearing that we are on the brink of war in the Middle East as these talks are falling apart. Now, we will see. Iran might come to some sort of an agreement here, but we're hearing at this very moment, coming out in the last 24 hours as we speak, China is sending over things to prepare Iran for over 800 missiles to be launched, preparing fuel, and they are still working away on enriching uranium as they so please. In fact, there are rumors coming out that Iran already has the abilities. They're just sitting, claiming that they are at the 60%, when really they are ready to go. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think Iran already has nuclear weapons ready to go? If so, put yes. If no, put no. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But we're going to dive right into it. I'm going to get you caught up on the latest so you know exactly what is going on as of today, June 7th, 2025. Now, I'm going to put these on the screen, read right from them, have them hyperlinked in the description so you can click on the articles, see them for yourself. I'm also going to play for you the video footage that has been coming out in the last 24 hours on this, as they're going to discuss how China, our enemies, are sending this over to Iran, sending over them for them the nuclear power ready to go, the missiles ready to go for all-out war. And if you appreciate that I cite the sources, try to hold myself to the highest level of accountability. Before we dive in, do me a quick favor, take a second, hit that thumbs up, like button. That just helps out my video, the channel a ton, spreads this out further. And if you want to stay up to date, it's totally free. Why not? I'll keep you up to speed on everything. All you got to do is take a second and hit the subscribe button. And if you want, turn on the notification bell so you're notified as I do these daily video updates. You can know exactly what is going on in the world. And like I said, I cite all the sources, put it on the screen, read right from it, so you can see it for yourself and know it is the latest. And also, people were asking, what if there is some sort of exposure to this radioactive material? There's a dirty bomb, a nuclear bomb that goes off in the United States, as we've been hearing about the warnings of foreign nationalists coming across our borders into the U.S. to potentially do harm in the U.S. People have been asking for those iodide potassium tablets, and I mentioned them in the past couple of videos, and people reached out and said, Steve, they're not in the links down below. So I have made sure they are there. There are 2 links there for iodide potassium tablets. I think it's like $15 to have some on hand. And if you got kids or adults, $20 if you need it to have various age ranges. There's 2 links down below. Check out the iodide potassium tablets to protect your thyroid from radiation exposure. If something like that were to happen, $15-20 to have a little bit of peace of mind. Not bad. There's other materials and things that you might want to stock up on in the description as well. But with that being said, hit that like button, subscribe if this is your first time here. Let's take a look at the latest so you can see it for yourself and know exactly what is going on. And let's start off with some video footage. We're going to be covering for you what experts are saying is happening right now. And they're going to share with you all the headlines coming out so you can see it for yourself. So let's take a look at this video footage, then we'll dive into the articles here in just a second to get you more detail. But let's go ahead and take a look.
Nobody better than retired 4-star General Jack Keane, Army General. 4 stars are hard to get. I just want people to know it's an amazing accomplishment. He's a great patriot. General, I want to read some headlines to you here that are recent, the last few days. Here's one headline. Iran orders thousands of tons of ballistic missile ingredients for China, up to 800 missiles that those can provide for. That's the Jerusalem Post. AP, Iran has amassed even more near weapons-grade uranium, UN watchdog says, more than they thought, and they've been hyper-generating it since they've been negotiating with our administration. CNN, Iran's supreme leader slams U.S. nuclear proposal, says it will continue to enrich uranium. And then Iran counter U.S. nuclear offer as Trump sends new warning. General, this is a terrorist regime that is hell-bent on getting nuclear weapons. Am I right about that?
No, absolutely. And the motivation is very clear. They believe just downright that if Saddam Hussein had a nuclear weapon, he never would have been removed. If Gaddafi did not give up his nuclear weapons, he never would have been removed. It's about the preservation of the regime, 1, and number 2, as leverage to threaten Israel, and if necessary, destroy the state of Israel. And we've got to be clear right about that. Americans who roll their eyes at something like that and say, oh, they can't be serious. Believe me, they are serious. And the Arabs know it as well. And if they get a nuclear weapon, we are in then a nuclear arms race. And the Arabs will get those weapons as quickly as possible. And my friend Henry Kissinger warned me, and he said, Jack, the greatest danger, I think, facing the United States from World War II to the present is a nuclear arms race in the Middle East, which would likely lead, his words, to a nuclear exchange. He said, we can never, ever let this happen. So that's where we are, and we got to put our foot down here.
Hey, Sean.
There you have it, you guys. So you saw the headlines coming out left and right with the warnings of this right now, as we're hearing that China is sending over 800, all the materials that they need for 800 missiles to be ready for war. And we're also hearing that Israel is saying they are ready. Now, Iran is saying they could hit Israel, but also there's the concerns of the United States' involvement in this as well, as the threats are coming out directly to the U.S. Now, I shared this with you a couple days ago, but let's take a look at this very quickly so you can see it, as they are saying Iran's supreme leader sends nuclear warning to the United States. Now, I got more video footage we're going to look at here in just a second coming out today, but first, let's look at this. Iran's supreme leader delivered a fiery speech on Wednesday. So this was a couple days ago, and we're going to dive into the updates coming out today, condemning U.S. demands over its nuclear program as rude and insolent, and accusing Washington of trying to block Iran's progress and self-sufficiency. He warned that the United States cannot do a damn thing. So this is the supreme leader to the U.S. saying, you can't do anything and you're not going to stop us. These are direct addresses to the U.S. The response from Iran's supreme leaders is the clearest yet to the nuclear proposal made by the administration of U.S. President Donald Trump, who has threatened to use military force if there is no deal. They also underline Iran's commitment to uranium enrichment, the main sticking point. Trump has said no enrichment would be allowed to prevent Iran acquiring nuclear weapons, something Tehran says it does not seek. Tensions are high as Washington awaits an official response to the proposal sent following several rounds of talks previously described as positive by both sides. So here's what to know. The U.S.'s first word is that Iran should not have a nuclear industry. Our response to America's nonsense claims is clear. They cannot do a damn thing in this matter, the Supreme Leader was quoted saying by a semi-official of Mer News agency. So they are saying, we don't care. They can't do anything about it. We're going to do as we very well please. The Supreme Leader later took to social media saying that the U.S. seeks to block Iran's nuclear industry in order to keep the country dependent on Washington for radio, pharmaceuticals, energy, desalination, technology, and other critical sectors. Uranium enrichment, a source of pride for Iran, is at the heart of a long rift between the two countries. While Iran says it does not seek nuclear weapons, the American administration has voiced concerns over reported significant enrichment activities closer to bombs grades levels. A confidential report from the International Atomic Energy Agency says that Iran conducted secret nuclear activities with undeclared materials at 3 sites long under scrutiny. In response, the U.S., Britain, France, and Germany are urging the IAEA to declare Iran in breach of its non-proliferation commitment, according to Reuters. Denying allegations, Iranian Deputy Foreign Minister Kazim Gharibabadi warned against what he described as a politically motivated move that could derail Tehran's cooperation with the UN watchdog, according to the Tehran Times. So here's what people are saying. The Supreme Leader said thousands of nuclear scientists and researchers have been trained in Iran. Should we disappoint them, make them unemployed, and take away their hope in our country's future? The rude, insolent U.S. leaders want this. They're opposed to the progress and self-sufficiency for the Iranian people. In the current nuclear talks that are being mediated by Oman, the U.S. proposal is 100% against the spirit of "we can." What the U.S. is demanding is that you should have no nuclear industry at all and be dependent on them. Here's what Donald Trump said. Under our potential agreement, we will not allow any enrichment of uranium. Now, here's what's next. Iran must make a formal response to the U.S.'s proposal. Authorities on both sides are yet to confirm if a 6th round of nuclear talks will take place. So that is where things currently stand, and let me know your thoughts in the comments on this as we're seeing things escalate. And we're hearing them say that they're not going to allow them to do anything. Iran is saying we don't have to be held accountable to the United States or to anybody. We have the right to do whatever we want. And Donald Trump saying by no means should they be allowed to have this nuclear power. Because as you know, we have heard in the past that Iran shouts death to Israel, death to the United States. Iran calls the United States the big Satan, Israel the little Satan. And we're hearing that, if they have these at their capabilities, that this could equate to a nuclear detonation, and it could even include against the United States as tensions are increasing. So we're going to see where things go from here. But like I said, this was actually a couple of days ago as we saw this unfolding, and we saw them coming out and giving direct warnings to the United States on this. Now, let me know your thoughts. Do you think that there is going to be a deal here? Do you think this is going to get worked out? Or do you think we are going to war? Are we on the brink of war right now? If you think we are, drop a 3 in the comments. There's a lot of people are speculating that this is going to lead us to World War III, along with the Russia-Ukraine issues and all the conflict going on in the world right now. Or do you think there's going to be peace? If you think we're going to make it through this, drop a 4 in the comments. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But as I mentioned, right now the Supreme Leader is saying they can't do anything about it. We're going to do what we want. We're going to enrich the uranium. And also, we've heard that uranium, in order to get that nuclear power, it only needs to go up to 3%. We're hearing that right now, Iran, it is being reported they're enriching up to 60%. multiple times higher than what is needed for that energy, and they need to get up to 90% to get up to weapons grade enriched uranium. They're closer to weapons grade than they are closer to what is needed for nuclear power. So they're saying that it does appear that they are pushing for that, and Iran is saying, we don't care what anybody says, we're going to do what we think is right. In the United States, you can't do anything about it, and that is exactly what the headlines have been reading. You can see here, June 5th, 2 days ago, the U.S. can't do anything about this. The Supreme Leader belittles the United States' nuclear proposals. Now, let's also take a look at some more video footage that has come out just in the past 24 hours. As we're hearing, as I mentioned, this is an alliance between China and Iran. We're hearing China, Iran, Russia, North Korea. They are working together in their various conflicts, helping each other out. And China is now sending over the materials necessary for Iran to be capable to have an additional 800 missiles at their disposal. And this comes, as I mentioned, we're hearing these talks have fallen apart. And Israel is saying, Donald Trump, the U.S., just give us the word. We're ready to go to war. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I see the threes still pouring in as people are saying, we are getting ready for war. Let's take a look at this video footage so you can see it for yourself.
Me now, former Israeli ambassador to the U.S., Michael Oren. Michael, to hear that Iran is going to have access to this kind of compound for possibly weapons development makes you think what?
Makes me think that Israel has to act and act quickly. And this is not new. Several years ago, the Chinese signed a 25-year, $400 billion agreement with Iran that had a military dimension. China buys its oil from Iran. And Iran is also an ally of North Korea. Those missiles you see kicking off are knockoffs of North Korean missiles. And Russia. Russia not only provides Iran with weaponry, it builds the Iranian nuclear reactors. So all of the America's adversaries in the world are aligned with Iran, and that's why they call it the anti-American axis.
You say that it's Israel that has to move quickly. The United States right now is actually asking, or at least hinting to Israel to, pardon the pun, cool its jets when it comes to attacking Iran. Will Israel listen?
I think Israel has to listen up to a point where we feel that it becomes an existential issue for the state of Israel.
But it's not yet? Would you say it's not yet an existential issue?
I would say that all Israelis prefer a diplomatic solution. A solution in which Iran no longer can enrich uranium on its own soil, use that uranium to put that enriched uranium into warheads that Iran is developing secretly, and then put them onto missiles, which Iran, as you saw, already has those missiles. Those missiles, by the way, can strike now Paris. They can strike London. So, yes, but there's a time to this. And right now, we're concerned that the negotiations going on between the United States and Iran are being dragged out. The Iranians are great negotiators. They know how to drag these things out ad infinitum. And we also know that while they're dragging these out, not only are they buying this rocket fuel from China, they are also extending the Iranian enrichment by 30%, which is sending an unequivocal message that they're not really afraid of the United States and Israel right now.
They do not appear to be. In fact, the Supreme Leader of Iran, Ali Khamenei, Ayatollah, came out and said that any suggestion in an Iran nuclear deal that Iran should stop enriching uranium is nonsense. His words. So they're not going to back down from this.
You know, my approach, we're maybe of a certain age, where it's the Dirty Harry approach, which is go ahead, pull the trigger, be my guest. Israel has the right and the ability to defend itself against a country which every single day says it exists to wipe us off the map, supports organizations like Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, which are trying to destroy us. We're defending ourselves very well against them, and wants to develop a nuclear weapon. There is no excuse for a country that says it wants a civilian nuclear program to enrich uranium to 60%.
President Trump, who is right now seen live on camera at Joint Base Andrews at the moment, just got off Marine One. He is going to head to Bedminster, New Jersey for the weekend, but his recent trip to the Middle East did not include a stop in Israel. What do you read into that?
I think his interests were economic, financial, to get Saudi investment, to sell large arms packages to the Middle East. We understand that.
Okay.
That was what was concerned for us. That he continues to back Israel's efforts in Gaza, and they are very, very difficult. We lost 4 soldiers just this morning in combat in Gaza. And also our efforts to contain Hezbollah in Lebanon and to address the situation in Syria, which is very, very dynamic.
Israel has the Iron Dome, which is has been amazing when it comes to incoming missiles. It intercepts them and saves a lot of people in Israel. The United States has talked about and will be building a Golden Dome, according to President Trump. But that said, Israel is already developing other things that may render that less important. The Iron Beam, can you talk about that really quickly?
Well, Israel has the most advanced multi-layered air defense system in the world. Systems that developed in cooperation with the United States or with the backing of the United States. It's Arrow 3 up in space, Arrow 2 in the atmosphere, David Sling, which is an intermediate level interceptor, and Iron Dome, which is for short-range rockets and mortar shells. But now comes Iron Beam. Iron Beam is a completely different technology. It's not based on an interceptor. It is laser beams. It is literally, you see something out of Star Wars.
What can it do?
What can it do? It can take down, and it did recently during our conflict with Lebanon, took down something like 300 armed drones.
Whoa.
Suicide drones, just with beams of light. And by the way, they cost nothing. An interceptor for Iron Dome costs about $60,000. This costs nothing.
We're talking a lot about war. It was 81 years ago today that the Allies, Britain, United States, Canada, stormed the beaches of Normandy. Your father was one of them. He came in during the invasion, one of the greatest generation. What do we learn from that?
I often ask myself a question, what it was like on the Higgins boat. You know, these boats
yes.
that they went, and I put myself in the boat and I do like a canvas. Where are you from? Well, I'm from Kansas. Where are you from? I'm from Brooklyn. I'm from New Jersey. I'm a medical student. I'm a business student. And why are you doing this? And if you asked everybody around that Higgins boat, they probably said the same thing. We are about to land on this beach and risk our lives to fight for freedom. And, you know, we have to get back to that Higgins boat, where people come from different parts of the country and they believe the same thing.
A brave man. And on this D-Day, I would just like to honor my great uncle, whom I never got to meet, Jack Fabish. We were able, as you see on the screen here, to go to the cemetery in Normandy for Canadian war soldiers. He was a lieutenant sergeant and he died in the invasion. And we were able to go see his grave amid the windswept cemetery where hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of allies are buried. And so on this D-Day,
so important to do that.
We remember.
There you have it, you guys. Wow. And again, yes, thank you to all of those that have served our nation and have made the ultimate sacrifice to provide freedom in the United States. And they said that we need to have that same mentality now for the current state that we are in. And there's a lot of experts out there that are saying that we have not been in the position that we are in right now since World War II, and a lot of people saying that we are on the brink of World War III right now if we're not already in it, and it just hasn't escalated to the point where we're calling it a global war. But let me know your thoughts. And you hear them saying that right now things are intensifying, and he literally said Israel should act quickly. However, Israel has not acted yet, and they said the reason why is because Donald Trump said no. Hit the pause button, Israel. We want to see if we can come to some sort of diplomatic solution before we escalate into war. Israel saying, just give us the word. We are ready. We are ready to go. Mayor Hogland, thank you for the $15. It says the U.S. and Israel has to move before the end rockets. They can deal with ballistics. Yes, and we're going to see. I will keep you up to date so you know exactly what is going on. As we're hearing this is coming out, I'll be sure to report it here on the channel. I think it was Wednesday when we heard that things were falling apart with the nuclear deals, and Iran issued that nuclear warning out to the United States. And now we're hearing in the last 24 hours that Iran is preparing missiles. They're getting support from China, and Israel and the United States are on standby. We're going to see where we go from here. I will keep you guys up to date on everything. Let's take a look at some of these articles that have just come out, though, in the last 24 hours. You can see the date, June 6, 2025. Iran is importing missile fuel from China as U.S. tensions rise, according to reports. Now, the article says that Iran is importing thousands of tons of missiles, fuels, materials from China as it works to rebuild its diminished military capabilities following Israeli strikes and the weakening of its regional proxies, according to new reports. So they are preparing to escalate things. And we're hearing that those talks, those deals, nuclear deals, right now at this moment, Iran, as you saw, they're saying that they don't feel like they're going to work out anything with the United States. They want the right to enrich that uranium however they see fit. According to the Wall Street Journal, Tehran has arranged for a shipment that includes ammonium perchlorate used in solid fuel ballistic missiles, which could enable the production of up to 800 missiles. Newsweek has reached out to Iran and China's foreign ministry for comments. Now, here's why it matters. The shipment underscores Iran's push to restore its missile capabilities after Israeli strikes damaged key facilities and weakened its regional influence. It also reflects deepening ties with China as both face mounting U.S. pressure. The development comes as nuclear diplomacy remains fragile. While the Trump administration has signaled openness to an agreement, it demands limits on Iran's regional and nuclear activities. Tehran seeks sanctions relief and security assurance. Here's what to know. The shipment from China includes thousands of tons of ammonium perchlorate, a vital chemical oxidizer for producing solid fuel ballistic missiles. This volume could enable the manufacture of up to 800 missiles and is expected to arrive in phases over the coming months, although Iran has not officially confirmed the deal. In response to Iran's expanding missile program, the U.S. recently sanctioned multiple individuals and entities in both Iran and China involved in procuring missile propellant materials. Now, Iran's military setbacks. The missile fuel shipment comes as Iran seeks to recover from Israeli strikes that targeted its missile production facilities and proxy forces across Syria, Lebanon, and Yemen. These Israeli attacks were carried out in response to Iranian missiles and drone assaults on Israeli targets, marking a cycle of escalating retaliations between the two countries. Despite temporary setback to Tehran's regional influence and military capabilities, the latest procurement signals Iran's determination to rebuild its strength amid ongoing tensions. Now, port explosion. An earlier shipment of missile fuel materials from China was linked to a devastating explosion at a major port in southern Iran, ending the lives of 70 people and injuring hundreds more. While Iranian officials have not publicly confirmed the shipment, state media reported that the blast was caused by accidental mishandling of highly volatile materials. And wow, take a look at this image of the blast. So the nuclear proposals, where things currently stand. On Thursday, so just 2 days ago, the U.S. State Department urged Iran to accept its nuclear proposal, calling it in their best interest. Spokesperson Tommy Pigott said that the Trump administration remains committed to preventing Iran from acquiring a nuclear weapon, warning Tehran faces a choice between a good option and a bad option. Pigott's remarks come as Iran said it's preparing a counterproposal to the American offer. So we could be seeing Iran respond here with a counterproposal. We will see what that is, what is included in that. The two sides have been engaged in talks since April, with the most recent round held on May 23rd. While negotiations remain fragile, both Washington and Tehran have signaled interest in continuing the diplomatic process. So here's what people are saying. Ali Shahkahani, senior advisor to Iran's supreme leader, after receiving the American proposal regarding the Iranian nuclear program, we are now preparing our new counterproposal. So they're going to be proposing something in return. We will see if something comes to fruition as a result of that. U.S. Treasury Department. Chinese individuals and entities have supported Iran's missile program, including the production of Houthi missiles and drones. U.S. State Department spokesperson Tommy Pigott. We've also been clear again and again and again that the Iranian regime can never have a nuclear weapon, that there is a good option and a bad option in regards to that. So here's what happens next. The timing of the planned missile fuel shipments coming as U.S.-Iran nuclear talks remain stalled indicates Iran is preparing to bolster its long-term military capabilities, complicating the prospects for future negotiations. So there you have it, you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, as we're hearing that they are right now working on deals to provide additional missiles, the ability to have materials for over 800 ballistic missiles. Here you can see from the Times of Israel coming out in the last 24 hours, Iran orders materials from China that can make some 800 ballistic missiles. And you can see the subtitle here. Israel said to reassure the U.S. that it will not strike Iran's nuclear facilities without first receiving the signal from Trump that talks have failed. So they are on standby, ready to attack at a moment's notice. And again, let me know your thoughts. Are we going to war? If you think so, put a 3. If you think no, put a 4. Let me know your thoughts. Mayor, thank you again for the 15. I'm not sure what that is, what currency that is, but I appreciate that. It says Trump backed himself into a corner by telling us that he would not start wars and he would be a president of peace. That just brings war instead, and I'm a Trump fan. We will see. I will keep you up to date. I know that we're hearing that right now. He is saying that he actually has stopped war from happening, telling Israel to hit the brakes, as I believe that when Netanyahu had actually come and visited the White House, maybe it was a month or so ago, that he was actually letting Donald Trump know, we're ready to attack. And Trump said, no, hold off. Just wait. Let's see if we can work this out diplomatically. Now, it looks like he has attempted to, tried to come about with peace, but we will see now, because right now it seems like things are not going that route, and it feels like Iran is pushing the envelope on escalating the tensions, and they are preparing missiles. And I am seeing those 3s pouring in right now. People are saying they believe that we are going to war. Now, do me a favor, while you drop those 3s and 4s, if you haven't done so yet, take a second and hit that like button. Looks like I literally just need 30 likes to get 1,000 while we're live right now. That would be amazing. If you appreciate the updates, that little support helps out the channel a ton. That would be awesome. Now, we will see where we're going to be going from here. I will keep you up to date on everything, but right now we're hearing that Iran is preparing missiles. Now, if you're glad that Donald Trump is the president in this moment, drop a 47 in the comments for support for Donald Trump, because right now we're hearing that there could be the Trump effect that is helping things out. I know a lot of people were concerned about World War III during the Biden administration, but now people are saying Donald Trump coming in, and it's almost like things have significantly shifted. However, it does feel like things are getting pushed in the direction of war. Now, we will see. I will keep you up to date regardless of what unfolds, whether we have peace or we have war, regardless of whether the Middle East explodes and erupts. If Russia and Ukraine explode and erupt, which we're actually seeing right now, we've been seeing major attacks unfolding. But I will keep you up to date every step of the way so you know exactly what is going on. And right now, Donald Trump, he is trying to come to some sort of an agreement, work things out. We have heard that it is failing at this time with the Middle East. And also, I believe I'm going to do some more research, and I'll keep you up to date. Stay subscribed to the channel. I'll have another update coming out for you. I also heard, I think I saw today, I got to read it in more detail, that he has just come out and said the Russia-Ukraine conflict, it's not going to work. There's not going to be a peace agreement. Just let them fight it out. I cannot come to a deal with these two. I've been trying to do so. Even, I think it was 8, 9, 10 days ago, he had given an ultimatum, a 2-week ceasefire must be done. 14 days or bad things would happen. This was a warning to Putin. And then I think it was just the other day, he came out and said, Russia has said they will be retaliating, escalating the war. It's not coming to an end. Things are intensifying. So without a doubt, I feel like Donald Trump has been attempting to be a president of peace, as we saw somebody mention in the comments. However, right now, you can't force it to happen. Unfortunately, these deals are not coming to fruition. Now, they might, and if they do, I'll let you know. But at this time, it looks like things are escalating to the point of war. But whatever unfolds, I'll be sure to keep you up to date. And again, if you appreciate that, do me a favor, hit that like button. Wow, we've got 1,200 likes while we're live. I appreciate the support. Really helps out the video on the YouTube platform a ton, spreads it out further. Also, share this out if you think that it will help out other people as well. Subscribe to stay up to date. And as I mentioned, if you want to be prepared, I saw somebody in the comments, I think it was Ingrid Stewart, had said that she was scared. These videos are not to scare you. It's to keep you informed. Knowing what's going on is half of the battle. And I always say, don't be scared. Be prepared. Be ready. Have things in place. pray and hope for the best, but plan for the worst. So if you are somebody that wants to get iodide potassium tablets, extra batteries, gas cans, various things to just be ready in case, the worst were to unfold, I've got Amazon links in the description, so you can click things, just buy a couple things to prepare, food, water, things of that nature. I think it's better to be safe than sorry, just my personal opinion. And but like I said, as more comes out, I'll be sure to keep you guys up to date here on the channel. But that is the latest. Thank you guys so much for joining me. And again, I see all those 47s. Appreciate the support for President Donald Trump. I will keep you guys up to date. But that is the latest, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Hope you have a blessed weekend, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.